What's up, everybody? Trip Morgan here with PantherSource.com. Got a lot to talk about. Dominating win tonight on Monday Night Football from the Carolina Panthers over the Miami Dolphins. A lot of great stuff to talk about. One or two things that might be a little bit concerning, and I'm joined, as always, by my buddy Billy Harless. What is up?
Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
So let's jump right into it. First of all, I want to get into some injury news. Obviously, I think there's a lot of concern with wide receiver Curtis Samuel, and Ron Rivera and the coaching staff have been in the press conference with some of the beat writers, and it appears he's supposed to go for an MRI tomorrow, but he is in crutches and his ankle is heavily wrapped, and the replay did not look good. It's concerning. He was on his way to a good game. I mean, he had 7 targets, 5 catches, 45 yards. You'd like to see him come down with the touchdown that he had there on that injury play, but not something you want to see for the guy who was finally coming on after KB was traded. But that's something we're gonna have to watch. Like I said, he's going for an MRI. The Dr. Chow on Twitter, MD, he posted the video and said that he would be worried about it being a fracture. So, like I said, we'll just have to keep an eye on that. But we're gonna go on and get back to the other good stuff here.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Is that Dr. Chow the actor?
No. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's Chao, but that's what I think about every time I see it.
I was just like, I haven't seen that tweet. Is it the actor Dr. Chow?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. But hey, no, I've seen the picture. It's definitely not him, unless he gained about 50 pounds, because he's a skinny dude. But anyway, to get on to some stats and superlatives. Cam Newton, offense, finally went for his big explosion tonight. The run game, absolutely phenomenal. Back-to-back 200-plus yard rushing games for the first time in Panthers franchise history. And I don't mean to beat a drum, and it's definitely not the only reason by any means, but it plays a big factor. All this is coming in back-to-back games in which right after we traded KB to get more speed on the field, and it's been clear it's showing. You constantly see the safeties dropping out of that box pre-snap, opening the middle of the field. The line seems to be blocking better, but it's also because they're getting more one-on-one blocks, and it's not overloaded.
Yeah, they're not having double teams against them, and like I said, I was not worried about the KB trade, and tonight it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yep. Jonathan Stewart, first 100-yard rusher of the season for the Panthers, 17 carries, 110 yards. Cam Newton, 5 carries, 95 yards, had the huge 69-yard run, his longest since 72-yard rush in 2012 against the Falcons, I believe that was. Good stuff there, as always. Cameron Artis-Payne, everybody was getting a piece of the action tonight. Artis-Payne came in, 7 carries, 68 yards. And his click was, 9 yards a carry. Cam was averaging 19 yards a carry because of that 69-yard rush, of course. And then Cam threw he was on passing tonight after he got going. It was about the second quarter, I'd say. He finally started finding that rhythm. And last week, Cam made a statement talking about on the sidelines how he was, people were acknowledging that he was upbeat on the sidelines despite a slow start for the offense, and he was lifting his team up. He was upbeat, and he challenged himself. He was going to do that from here on out, and it's starting to show. I mean, he was amped the whole time, and one of the things I like to see the most from Cam was when players on the offense, playmakers were making mistakes, he was actually getting on them. Cam normally takes all this blame himself, and especially in press conferences, and you don't see him going to those players in between plays on the sidelines. You don't see him really talking to them much or getting on them. And he was talking to Russell Shepard after he dropped passes. He was talking to Curtis Samuel. He was talking to these guys, and then they were coming right back around. Russell Shepard didn't drop another pass the rest of the game and had some big third down pickups.
Yeah, he had those 2 big drop passes, and then the ball he didn't come back to, which ended up not being the interception, and that really fired Cam up. I mean, luckily it wasn't turnover, but it was really nice to see Cam getting Shepard's ear and be like, "Yo, man, you got to come back to that ball. If I make that pass, you got to become the defender." And like I said, he didn't drop any more balls.
Yeah, and look, guys, I'd love to show you. I normally have these highlights rolling up here for all these big plays, but obviously it's a primetime game. It's late. It was early in the morning for us, actually. It's or just after midnight. So I hadn't had a chance to really break down those. I did post a couple on the page, but I haven't had time to get them down and get them on my computer. So they are up there. But the Cam run, I mean, he, on that first bootleg early on in the game, he was running down the sidelines and just laughing at the Dolphins. And this is why some people hate Cam, and this is why I love Cam. It's a game. It's supposed to be fun. He's having fun, and if it gets in the player's head, so be it. Let them get mad. Let them make mistakes. And it seemed to show the Dolphins front got called for so many offsides, neutral zone infractions tonight off of, stuff like that. And Cam's snap counts.
Yeah, they were getting really irritated. It was getting chippy there for a little bit. I like when Cam does it. I think he has earned to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And and then really, if we're being honest, that's when Cam has his edge. I mean, when Cam is doing that upbeat stuff, when he's got that swagger, and when he's running the football more so, I mean, I think that's the most important thing. It gets him going. And the pass, I think the pass to Devin Funchess, the touchdown pass, was the perfect moment because that looked like 2015 Cam. The second half altogether really looked like 2015 Cam all over again. He was going out there. He was he threw a pump fake, boom, other side of the field, didn't miss a beat. Looked like he barely even looked at the receiver, and he threw a perfect back shoulder throw for Funchess to stop, beat the defender one-on-one, and was gone to the end zone. I mean, those are beautiful plays.
Yeah, I was, I don't know, back to would KB do that? I'm not sure.
No, he wouldn't. I don't think he would.
When that solid pass, okay, we're going to get another first down, and he came back to the ball and ended up being a touchdown.
Yep.
I'm impressed. I mean, the Dolphins aren't good, but we did what
offensively. A lot of people were worried about this Dolphins front coming in. I mean, they do have Ndamukong Suh and Cameron Wake. They have they're no pushover against the rush this year either. I think they're seventh. I went over this in the preview. I can't remember the number, but they held opponents to 90 yards rushing coming into this game per game, and we just dropped what was it? I got it right here, 294, nearly 300 yards. We were 3 yards short of breaking the Panthers franchise record, or 5 yards by that number, of 299 for most rushing yards in a game.
Yeah, I think their defense tonight was not on the same page. And Sue was, he was quiet. I saw at one point he had been in for 50 snaps and he had 2 tackles. Kiko Alonso.
Yeah, missing. Yeah, he was taking bad angles all night.
His ankles broke by McCaffrey twice.
Yep.
So the defense definitely played really badly tonight, or maybe our offense is just, showed a flash of really good play.
Yeah, and speaking of speaking of the trench battle, the offensive line, Andrew Norwell, and I have to give props to Matt Khalil tonight, getting out on pulling plays and blocking for Jonathan Stewart. We saw one. I mean, it ended up going after the defender pushed him another 5 yards. Yeah. It ended up going for about 13, 14 yards. But Khalil was out in front, and he actually he chipped one guy enough for Stewart to get by, and then he knocked another one out of bounds where Stewart was able to run out behind him and pick up the first down before getting pushed another 4 or 5 yards. And that was good to see. Andrew Norwell was getting out in front today. A lot of pulling plays. That's what the Panthers look for when they look for an offensive lineman. You have to be able to pull. If you can't pull, you're not going to work in this system, and it's going to hurt the run game. And the last 2 games, this Panthers offense and run game has been getting it going. And now we are talking about the Dolphins. I mean, these guys could have given up halfway through. Jay Cutler is absolutely terrible. He is awful. I don't know what else I can really say about that. I mean, they scored 21 points, and Ron Rivera said it in the post-game presser. He said, I can guarantee you Steve Wilkes isn't happy right now, and I wouldn't blame him because there's really – I know they put the second-string guys in late in the game, but they're really – the way Jay Cutler played the majority of this game, he made a couple of good throws on 3rd and longs, getting blitzed. But outside of that, he was missing people badly, short.
He overthrew a lot of people short and long. He's about 6 years past his prime.
Yeah. We got some comments rolling in. Corey Davis, so happy seeing Cap get a touchdown tonight. Yeah, and what a fabulous run that was. I mean, we were watching it live, and he hit that first cutback, and it was like, damn, what a cutback. And then it looked like he was getting bottled up by two guys, bounces off, and he's gone. Great to see. I mean, I love seeing Cap get some work, especially giving Stu the break late in the game when you're up.
I like the touchdown, but the last run he had, where I was like, oh, nice cut, and then it ended up being 30-some yard rush.
Yeah.
Stewart came back this week, and I'm glad to say he did. He held on to that ball. He was not going to lose that ball tonight.
Yeah, he was sacrificing some speed to hold the ball, which I'm fine with because I mean they were giving him gaping holes all night, and he was ripping off chunk after chunk after chunk, like everybody. I mean, I wish I'd had time to get these highlights together for y'all, but Colin O'Meara, there are certain Panther games that stand out to me. This reminded me of our 2009 Monday Night Football game against Tampa Bay when Double Trouble rushed for 100-plus yards each. The whole country saw what we were about. We're in everyone's conversation about playoff contenders now. Looking forward to what's ahead. I mean, yeah, look, and, this team I think has more weapons than that. But, well, hopefully Samuel's okay. I mean, that's going to be a big key. Right now, it's not sounding so promising. But we do still have Kalen Clay, the speedster, and I think some people might be underestimating him a little bit. Like you said, Samuel has had some troubles dropping passes. Now tonight, he had a hell of a catch where he absolutely got drilled when he had to go up for it, and Cam dropped it in a hole, and he went up and got it and took a damn lick. And I mean, it knocked him 5 yards off in the air, and he held on to it, got right back up, made the first down move, and kept trucking. But he has dropped a couple of those open passes, like the one he got injured on tonight. That was disappointing to see, but he still looked good. He was having a promising game. Like I said, he had 7 targets, 5 catches. So that's a pretty good catch percentage. I mean, you can't argue with that.
It's late, so am I thinking, did he dropped another one in the end zone? The one, or was that the same play where the guy flashed in front of him?
That was the same play. Yeah, same play. Yeah, the guys, he jumped up with him, and it looked like his hand flashed right in front of his face. And it hit him, I think it was in his left shoulder pad. So Michael Blackman, biggest kid on the field, got to love him, keep pounding. Yeah, you got to be talking about Cam. Rob Piercy, CMC's quick move on his rushing touchdown and blocking for Funchess are huge things to be hyped about as a Panthers fan. Yeah, the block on that screen pass to Funchess, which was, we're going to start at the beginning of this play, a great pre-snap audible read by Cam Newton because that was not the original play. He audibles out, sees the defensive lineman, audibles out to the screen, hits Funchess, and then CMC lays a perfect block. Along with, it was one of the linemen. It may have been Khalil if he was outside, I think. But lays the block, and it frees Funchess all the way to the end zone and touchdown. And those are the things you're absolutely, that's a great point, Rob. I mean, you have to be excited about that. And then, yes, the cutback move. McCaffrey seems to be seeing the field a lot better these last 2 weeks. And I don't know what it is, and I don't care what it is. He told – John Gruden was talking about when he talked to him, this week during practice. McCaffrey said how he felt like the game was finally starting to slow down for him, and he felt like he was going to have a big second half of the season. Well, it seems to be showing. 2 touchdowns tonight, one rushing, 1 receiving, and he was Cam's check down. He had that check down earlier where Cam was getting blitzed, and he checked it down to CMC, and he he hit that move and beat the guy and got the first down on 3rd down. Those are the plays he wasn't making early on in the season. He was getting eaten up on those little feet moves, and now he's making them. So that's great to see. See, Chris Valerio, go Panthers. Yes, Michael Blackman. Any word on Samuel? We opened the show with that, and I'll reiterate it for those that are just joining us. Samuel he was in crutches in the post game, according to beat writers and analysts. He was in crutches with his left ankle heavily wrapped. It's not the ankle that he had injured last week, so that's good. But it doesn't sound good right now. It's like I said, one of the MDs, NFL MDs, on Twitter said he thought it might be a fracture. And if you saw it, I mean, his ankle nearly got turned 180 degrees, the opposite way. So not good. Colin O'Meara, Manhurts had some great blocks too, which may have gone unnoticed to most people. He did a great job. Yeah, look, the tight ends are they're being asked to do some blocking this year, and they're stepping up. And speaking of tight ends, one of the biggest takeaways we mentioned, I've mentioned on the show every week for the past 3 weeks or so, with these 2 home games before the bye week, the Panthers are now 7-3 heading into the bye. Take on the Jets in Week 12 in New York, New Jersey, New York Jets in New Jersey. But Greg Olsen is expected to be back in Week 12 for this offense, coming off this performance. I mean, you've got to have, with Cam's confidence coming off of this game and the confidence that having Greg Olsen back is going to bring, you've got to feel better heading into this playoff hunt, trying to keep pace with the New Orleans Saints right now, because the Saints are no pushover. I mean, they're good right now.
I'm on the fence now.
About what?
About Olsen coming back. The reason I say that is we lost Benjamin 2 years ago. He came back. You know, we did well with Funchess, went to Super Bowl. Came back, we forced the ball to him a lot. Big issues. Is that going to be something that Cam forces way too much when he comes back? I mean, of course, he's way better than Benjamin. But seeing how good the offense is now is throwing that tool that's always been there that hasn't been there for the whole season, basically. Is it going to throw a kink in how things are now? And that's just me being, I guess, pessimistic. I don't want to be too high on him coming back.
I'm going to disagree. There might be initially getting him back in the groove, like maybe the first half of that game, or maybe even the whole game against the Jets. But him being back is a world's difference over Ed Dixon. I mean, he's just splitting the seams, finding the open spots and zones and stuff. That's what Greg Olsen is known for. And defenses are going to have to watch Greg Olsen a hell of a lot more than they ever have to watch Ed Dixon. I mean, that's going to be a difference maker. You know, people can line Ed Dixon up one-on-one and feel confident. You're not. I mean, you can try to do that against Greg Olsen in certain situations, but he can make you pay for it. And it really depends on if, you know, we're going to have to see how Greg Olsen's cutting. I mean, he could come back and not be able to run sharp routes right now in the first game or two. But he says he's on pace, he's feeling good, and that's really all we have to go off of. I mean, we'll see. I guess he's going to be in practice next week. Should be a full go. So maybe we'll have more. And there's still no guarantee he comes back. I mean, he could still have a setback. So this is all still somewhat hypothetical. We're just going off what, you know, we've seen from trainers and coaches, staff, or whatever.
That's just, I won't be surprised. If, you know, he's going to come back. The offense might be a little rusty trying to get him in there.
Yeah. Michael Blackman, you're on the fence. You're killing me, Smalls. Chandre Williams, Shepard was looking like Gannon from 2015, but he got better as the game went on. Yeah, I guess you're talking about the drop passes early, because I don't think you're talking about his speed. But yeah, he dropped some early, and then Cam, like I said, you saw Cam on the sideline tonight. You don't normally see, you know, getting on, you know, talking to these guys, and maybe not like drilling them, but he was telling them, look, you know, he was giving them instructions and actually getting on them for drop passes and trying to boost them back up, and it worked. Corey Davis, Kuechly kicked it up big tonight, 15th career interception. Yes, Lee's linebackers since he entered the NFL in 2012 in interceptions with 15 total, and that was a great pick. Luke Kuechly's just a damn machine. Though I wish he'd returned it for 6 because my fantasy team really needed it. I lost because I was playing against Cam Newton in one league, and I was up big, and he let him back. And I had the Panthers defense, Kurt Coleman, and Mario Addison. I was going for the triple dip tonight, going against the Dolphins offense, and they couldn't quite pull it off. They got up to 21 points to hurt my defense. Cam Newton came back for the other guy, scored. You know, he went off. We all saw that. Lost that one, but I had Cam Newton and Curtis Samuel in the other league that I was down big in, and they brought me back in that league and won it. So bittersweet, and I'll take a Panthers victory over a fantasy victory any day of the week. But anyway, so let's go back to that defense for a little bit. Jay Cutler was 22 of 37, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, that one being to Luke Kuechly. Kenyon Drake, 7 carries, 82 yards, 1 touchdown. Of course, the touchdown came on that big, long run of 66 yards. The rushing of Miami is totaled 100 yards tonight. we struggled a little bit against the run today, and Kenyon Drake looked good though, but there were times I felt like I don't know.
I wouldn't say we struggled. It's 100 yards and 66 is on one carry.
Yeah, but that's bad.
Yeah, but that's bad. But we won 45-21.
Yeah,
there's gonna be some big plays, and it happened, but they had 44 yards besides that one big play.
Well, I can tell you, I know that's the longest run we've given up all season. I would put money on that right now, and it was against the Dolphins, who have no pass game, which I just don't like that. But that's me being nitpicky. I don't think that's, and I think Steve Wilkes will tell you the same thing. It's inexcusable from a defense with this front seven. See Kenny Stills, 5 catches, 67 yards. A lot of underneath stuff on the blitzing today. We knew they were going to blitz heavy. The Panthers blitz, I think it's the second highest percentage in the NFL.
Yeah, it was like 40-something%.
Yeah. Devontae Parker, 6 catches, 66 yards. Jarvis Landry, 5 catches, 42 yards. Jay Cutler was throwing the ball around, that's for sure. And he had the touchdown late in the game that, just garbage time or whatever. But we'll see. Cutler, did he even get sacked? Yeah, no sacks tonight. I was going to say he was hitting quick passes to the flat, and then other times he was running for his life and just throwing the ball horrifically when he was trying to target people downfield. The pressure was there. Julius Peppers was all over him late in the game.
And he laid a big hit towards the end of the game.
Just couldn't quite get to him quick enough, and that's, like I said, that's more credit, I think, to Cutler just getting the ball out of his hands, no matter if he had to throw an interception, throw the ball away, or it somehow landed in one of his receivers' hands.
With 2 cracked ribs, you're trying not to take that sack.
Yeah, man, he's bad. I can't believe they don't have Matt Moore playing. I know he looked bad that one game, but, man. Anyway. Panthers defense, Quan Short led the team, 7 total tackles. He was all up in. He was beating the Dolphin center left and right all night tonight. Luke Kuechly, 6. He had the interception. James Bradbury, he was actually involved in a lot of run tackles tonight. It was looking really good there. Mike Adams, Captain Munderland, Shaq Thompson, the list goes down. Davis only had 3 tonight. So I actually saw Charles Johnson was flashing some more tonight. That's back-to-back weeks. He seems to be coming on pretty good. He had Charles Johnson, what was it, when they were backed up near their own goal line. I think he got a big hit on him, and they ended up getting a penalty. It was like an illegal formation or whatever it was. But, yeah, good stuff there. Let's see, comments rolling back in again. Randy Merchant, I enjoyed this game. Yeah, I think any Panthers fan enjoyed this game. Chandre Williams, Cam didn't get sacked tonight, which is good. He had a great game tonight. He ran out of gas in that long run he had. Yeah, but look, let me tell you something, and here's a quick stat for you. Cam reached 20.9, so essentially 21 miles per hour on that run, and showing his speeds back with him trimming in this offseason, and that's the fastest run clocked by a quarterback since the next gen stats, NFL's incorporated speed. That was pretty impressive. There were 2 defenders right beside him, and he straight just beat them. And then he gave out a gas, but you'll take that 69 yards every time. When you watch this game, they respected Cam's ability to run on some plays. I think you have to. He's been our leading rusher week in and week out until tonight. And he was almost there. 95 yards.
There was the one read option I talked about. I said Cam did a great job freezing that linebacker. And they're scared of him running the ball, and it opened up a huge lane.
Yeah, so the play that Christian McCaffrey actually scored on in the touchdown where he made the cutback on Alonzo, that play is called the inverted veer. The same play that Cam had that 69-yard rush on was also the inverted veer. Cam just kept it this time. And that's the versatility that McCaffrey, Cam, and this running game can bring when you don't have a stacked box and you're getting one-on-one, and Cam's essentially one-on-one with the read guy. If Cam decides to read, then he should have that guy beat anyway because that guy's taking off at the running back. Unless Cam reads it bad, and then he's probably he's probably not going to get that chunk play. But it's just that's the defense saying, hey, we got beat by McCaffrey last time for a touchdown. Granted, it was only 2 yards. But we got beat by that last time. I'm going to take him this time. No, Cam's going to keep it, and you just don't really know what's going to happen. That's up to Cam. Cam has to make that. So, and he's been killing that. He always really has. Ottawa, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name right. Ottawa Williams. I knew we were going to win. I mean, we're the Carolina Panthers. We've got the best colors, the finest cheerleaders, and of course the best football team. All that agree. Roar like the big cats. I like your homerism, but look, in the preview this week with Den from Keep Pounding podcast, I said the Panthers were favored 9, and I called them covering it. I think the score I called was 20-6, and covering the 9-point spread. This, I would have never guessed nearly a 300-yard rushing game against this front with Sue and Cameron Wake. But yeah, I thought the Panthers should win this game by at least 9 points, and I would have been disappointed otherwise, and I said that in the preview too. If we'd have lost this game, I don't think – I mean, that would have just been bad. At home, on Monday Night Football, it would have been ugly.
Yeah, I didn't think we would lose. At the beginning of the game, I was worried. But those drop passes killed us in the beginning. But once we started, catching those balls, we were totally fine.
Yeah, and that was one of the things we were kind of worried about. Me and you had mentioned it. We said, is this going to be another game where we kill ourselves with these? And I hate to say this word because it's Ron Rivera's specialty, but with these missed opportunities, Russell Shepard was wide open on that fake wide receiver screen where Cam beat that guy with the pump fake, and then he took off and was right there. That was a great play call because the Panthers have used that wide receiver screen so much this year, and the fact that they did the fake and he took off and it worked like a charm. And then Shepard dropped a wide open pass. And it wasn't a bad pass.
No, none of the passes that he dropped were perfect. He had Ted Ginn hands. Yep.
Again, guys, I'm Trip Morgan. This is Billy Harless here with the PantherSource.com postgame show. Y'all keep jumping in the comments, join us. And look, that number's up there. Y'all feel free to call into the show if you want. I mean, you can call in and join. I know it's late. We weren't expecting a lot of people to get up here tonight, having to go to work in the morning. Honestly, we weren't even really sure we were going to get up here tonight. I have to go to work early in the morning. Billy is off tomorrow, so he was like, yeah, Billy said, I mean, if you want to do it, I'm down. But it was a big win. We felt like we needed to get up here, talk to y'all, get y'all's feels on the game. Are we still a wild card for playoffs? Yes, and actually, I'm trying to remember who was ahead of us now. I'll actually see if I can pull that up right now. I know we're at least a wild card. And I was telling Billy earlier tonight, one of those playoff predictor sites actually had the Panthers a possibility, even though it may have been a slim one, that the Panthers could go 11-5 and still miss the playoffs, which would be, that would be devastating.
Because we're looking at Seattle. Who else?
What?
For the records.
Oh, no, we're ahead of Seattle. I think they've got 4 losses now. 3. I don't know.
They have 3.
See, it's right here. I got it pulled up. Seahawks are 6-3. You got the Rams are 7-2. I know the Eagles are obviously up front. The Vikings we got to play them at home in Charlotte. That's going to be a big one. And then the New Orleans Saints. I mean, right now they're leading our division. And we're keeping pace with them, and that's going to shaping up to be a big one in New Orleans. And the fact that it's in New Orleans, Drew Brees and that team plays fast there, so it's going to be a tough one. But yes, I know we at least still held the wild card spot by winning at 6, if not 5th. I can't remember. It may have been Seattle there. I don't know how that tiebreak would work out, and I don't see it up here right now. They may have not have updated it yet with the game just ending.
It's crazy. At the first show we did, I said that the team we needed to not split with was New Orleans. Now, with how they've come on, that split, we could go 11-5 and not make the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, if we beat New Orleans, I don't think we go 11-5. I think New Orleans is easily our hardest game left on the schedule. If we're able to beat them in New Orleans, I don't think we should finish anything less than 12-4. Being we stay healthy with the defense and the offense continues to be able to run the ball, and we get Greg Olsen back. And I really hope nothing's wrong with Curtis Samuel because that's going to start putting our depth at wide receiver really thin. Still have Kalen Clay.
Hey, Burson caught a ball tonight.
Yeah. People hate on Burson, man. I don't understand. I mean, he ain't great, but he's a solid possession receiver. He's got good hands.
Zone.
So, when? Tonight?
Yeah. I said Burson's about to get a touchdown. Quick slant right to the middle.
And double cover. No, I ain't gonna rail on the hard on that one. Anyway, let's see. Chandre Williams, do you think Funchess has evolved as a wide receiver one? Look, I mean, the guy is making good plays. I like him for us. I'm not going to say he's a top wide receiver one in the NFL, but 5 catches, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns tonight. I mean, he fits this offense better than Kelvin Benjamin would have with the speed around him now. And I think we saw his rookie season, we saw glimpses of that. That's why so many people were disappointed in 2016 when he fell back and KB came back and he fell off, was because, look, Funchess had, he played good as the second guy next to Ginn as that big guy and physical. But when KB came back, he got shadowed, and you saw this offseason, Rivera said, we've got to find better ways to get Funchess the ball. We didn't do that enough last year, and it showed. And obviously it showed because we just got rid of Kelvin Benjamin and kept Devin Funchess. And 5 catches, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns on 6 targets, 5 catches on 6 targets. I think he's doing. I think he's doing good.
I think he's a wide receiver one, more so than Benjamin on this team.
Absolutely.
Could he go to a lot of other teams and be this player? I don't think so, but he's definitely a better wide receiver one than Benjamin.
Yeah,
was.
Yeah,
and maybe will be.
Yeah, I think he's fitting this team perfectly. He does a lot of things I like. He comes back to the football on throws, which is something a lot of our receivers don't do, and that's one of the biggest things you have to do in the NFL to help your quarterback is come back to fight the ball, because DBs are going to be coming back to get it. And if they're getting they're going to be the first one there, guess what? You're not going to catch that ball. And Kelvin Benjamin was infamous for being lazy in that department. We saw Russell Shepard did it tonight and on that early, what was almost a pick, and T.J. McDonald dropped it after Cam was just talking junk to him. Yeah. He dropped it, but Shepard he went away from the football when it was thrown instead of towards it, and that's how McDonald was able to undercut it at the safety spot. You can't do those things. You have to fight back towards the football in the NFL as a receiver, especially when your quarterback's making a bad decision throwing back across the field. That was not a smart play by Cam, so I'm not blaming that completely on Shepard, but still, I mean, if he makes that decision, you got to be there to try and help him. Devin Funchess has done that. So, man, that's a great style. I'm about to go get him. I'm going to trade for him in fantasy. I'm just going to stack up on Panthers. I'm joking.
Go ahead.
I'm happy with my team right now, even though I got to fight to get in the playoffs, but points-wise, they're doing good. I agree Funchess is faster. Oh, yeah, and that's been my biggest argument. His yak ability is through the roof compared to Kelvin Benjamin. I mean, you saw it last week. He caught that ball going across the middle, kept going, pointed his blocker, was directing him, picked up the extra yards. You saw it tonight with the back shoulder throw. He caught it. Benjamin probably goes out of bounds. I don't mean to keep bashing Benjamin. I wish the best for the dude, but I always thought Devin Funchess was a smoother receiver. He was quicker. He played more to his size, and his hands were better. He played physical, go up for the ball, football at receiver. And those are things I felt like Kelvin Benjamin was just inconsistent at. And one of them had to go regardless to help this offense. And now, I mean to say it again, but the Panthers have had back-to-back 200-yard rushing games with Kelvin Benjamin gone due to speed on the field, and you see the safeties keep dropping out of the box constantly. I saw one play tonight where they had 9 men in the box, and they stuffed the run in the backfield. And I was like, oh, well, that's not something it's not something we've been used to seeing after last week, and I didn't see it the rest of the night.
And that was I think that was that was the first negative play of the night.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have a negative play until like into the third quarter.
I mean, they couldn't stop the run late in the game when they knew we were running the ball. Yeah. And Cam still found and hit, Funchess on that. I mean, it was just when we went up 31-14, I think it was at the time, or 31-7, and there was 5 minutes left in the third quarter. I was like, geez, dude, we got a long game ahead of us. That's when I knew I'd lost the fantasy, because I knew Cam was throwing some more passes before the game was over with. Let's see. Our other wide receivers need to catch the ball when given the ball. Mike Strib. Yeah, we talked about it earlier. It's got to happen. Cal Chapman. As much as I hate to admit it, we look better. Hey, they're coming out now. Look, I mean, if you were upset about the Benjamin trade, it's fine. I mean, it was a number 1 draft pick. You hate to see it not work out, but guess what? Accept it. It didn't work out, and just move on. You've got to try to do things that make it better. And when, it's like I said, when all this went down and I went live and we were all talking about this offense wasn't being made or broken with Kelvin Benjamin. So the loss didn't hurt, and now we've actually improved on offense as of right now, 2 weeks later, and we've got a 3rd and 7th round draft pick next year. I mean, that 3rd round pick could be huge. You saw everybody was upset about the Coney Ely trade with New England, and I was like, well, he, 1, has been terrible for us, and then 2, we weren't going to keep him around. He'd been in and out of the doghouse with the coaching staff. He had been coming off the bench, 2nd, sometimes 3rd string, and he didn't live up to the hype he was supposed to after the Super Bowl. And we got a 2nd round it was a 2nd round draft pick for him, and we got Taylor Moton out of that, a right tackle, and we drafted Curtis Samuel with the other one. Those picks matter, and some people take that for granted. I think a 3rd round pick is big in the draft. I mean, that could be, you could land another star receiver, or you get another backup lineman. You just never know who's going to fall there. Ronnie, what's up, Ronnie?
What's up?
Love you guys. Go Panthers. Blow out. That's right. Ashley Cox, I'm not a Panthers fan, but I enjoy listening to y'all talk about it. When the Panthers played, Brandon and Mike screamed way too much to hear what was going on. What's up, Ashley? Yeah, I can imagine that. And I'm sure Mike was screaming extra hard, beating my ass in fantasy night. You tell him to just go pass out somewhere. Adam Troy, Cheatham, almost 300 yards rushing tonight. Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful when that's working. If they can keep that going, that offense is going to be tough with Cam Newton come out of play action. It's just going to be tough to beat. David Rude. Actually, we just moved up 8 spots, but well worth the move. Yeah, I mean, he's talking about from 3rd round to the last pick of the 4th round to the last pick of the, or 3rd round, last pick of the 2nd round, and last year's draft for Taylor Moton. You're right, but those 8 picks make the difference. I mean, Deion Dawkins and Taylor Moton were the top 2 guys on the board at that time on the offensive lineman position, and I could almost guarantee you Taylor Moton wouldn't have been available there. And I'm still waiting on him to get some play.
Time, yeah.
But Darrell Williams is actually, I have to give props. Him and Khalil have actually looked pretty good the last 2 weeks. And again, they're not facing 9-man boxes, constantly blitzing and having to get overloaded. You can't. I mean, when there's that much blitzing going on, it causes confusion on the offensive line, and it showed. So, Chandra Williams, I had Cam, CMC, Gano, and our defense playing tonight, down 59 to 102, and came back 127 to 102, fighting in fantasy to make the playoffs. Nice, congratulations. I was with you in one league on that, and I was the opposite in one league. So, Ashley Cox, hey Trip, have many guest hosts one night. Well, all she's going to do is talk about how hot Christian McCaffrey and Luke Kuechly are. So, I might have to pass. Watching from Taiji, Iraq. Good job, guys. Hey, thanks, man. Are you, I don't know, David, if you're in the military. If you are, thanks for your.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if you are, thanks for your service. If not, thanks for tuning in anyway. But yeah. Well, guys, we're gonna, if that's all y'all have for tonight, we're gonna get out of here. Like I said, big win tonight. Panthers 7-3. Bye week next week. Might get up here and do something live wise. Maybe do a. I don't know. We'll see about doing something. Maybe keep track with the Saints and NFC South. What's going on there, because we got to keep pace right now. The Saints are past their bye week already, and I don't know, until they play us. I don't think they really have anybody tough left on their schedule in between. And then they just dominated the Bills. Let's see. They have the Redskins. That won't be an easy one. They are at home for that though. So the
Redskins shutdown defense could show up. They've shown up a couple times. I mean,
Josh Norman, he knows that offense and Drew Brees. So maybe they can get something for us. I don't know. I'm not going to count on them. We just got to go to New Orleans and win. That's all we got to do. So anyway, guys, like I said, this is Panthersaurus post game show. I'm Trent Morgan. This is Billy Harless. Be sure to like, comment, share, follow us up here on Panthersaurus. You can follow us on Twitter as well at Panthersaurus. Check out Panthersaurus.com for articles and whatnot. YouTube, we're getting back heavy into the YouTube game with previews, and obviously we post our post game show up there each week. Be sure to subscribe there. You just go into the search bar, type in Panthersaurus. It should pop up with our little PS abbreviation logo. So check us out there. Be sure to subscribe. And next week, well, not next week, but the week after next, y'all get back on calling us now. I mean, that's I don't put this phone up here for nothing. We don't come up here for nothing. Seattle needs to beat the Falcons next Monday night. Yes. Well, I don't know. I'd rather the Falcons beat Seattle, I think, because I don't think the Falcons are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I would rather have the Falcons. I don't think the Falcons won't be in contention. It'll help us if we do need that wild card spot.
Chandre, we got Vikings. That should be a hard-fought game. Yes, and it's in Charlotte, thankfully. But, yeah, that's not going to be an easy one with that defense. And Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen are the truth.
Is Bridgewater coming back?
Not right now. They're liking – Case Keenum's won 5 games in a row for him, so it's hard to mess up that rhythm. Anyway, we're going to get out of here, guys. Like, follow, share, subscribe, comment. I'll do all that stuff. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Baby Bubbles, as Pat Coltrane likes to say. That dude's funny. You should subscribe to him, too. We're out of here. We'll catch y'all next time. Keep pounding.
Yep, keep pounding.